You're tuned into Capital Jazz TV, and we are on the 17th annual Capital Jazz Super Cruise. The goddess is here. That's how we refer to you, too, on the morning show.
Really?
I was just like, the goddess, Maysa, is here.
Oh,
Maysa,
my
how
gosh.
are you?
I'm great, honey. Just having a beautiful time. On
Yes.
this cruise, and it's just always nice every time.
It's so good to see so many people on this cruise just talking about you. And here's the word that I keep hearing. She is so real.
Oh,
That is
thank you.
that is what the fans have been saying on this
Oh,
cruise.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be. I mean, this is my career is a dream come true, and I really appreciate it. So the way I show my appreciation is just to show my true personality and who I am, because I think when you try to, people in this industry try to put on this facade about who they are, they're so great, and it's all about me, and I'm so wonderful.
That's right.
You know, I hate this kind of stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
just want to be a human being who's blessed to sing, and that's all. That's all.
And you have been blessed to sing. We saw her. I went to both shows, and you do this thing with the a cappella. Like this room is, how many people would you say was sitting in that audience? It had to be 700, 800 people.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge auditorium, and you stepped away from the mic and sang a cappella. The crowd went crazy. Everybody's phone was up, mine included. It just, I mean, is that a strain on your voice, like from a technical perspective? Like, how do you get that sound to carry?
That's what I trained for in school. So my degree is in classical performance. I was supposed to be an opera singer. That's what I trained to be, and but R&B and soul and jazz just was my calling. And
That's what stuck to you.
I couldn't switch. So I mean, but I got the training has been amazing. I think that's why I've been able to sustain. Like today, I'm a little hoarse, but why I've been able to sustain my voice over the years is because of that training.
Yeah.
It was very pivotal for my career. So I'm very glad and very grateful that I went to Morgan State University and trained and learned everything I could do to keep my voice going.
Yes, well, the voice is strong. Needless to say. But not only are you this dynamic vocalist, when I introduced you on stage, I had to let the people know that Maysa is one of the few women, I'm talking about her like she's not here. Maysa is one of the few women that has her own black woman-owned label.
Yes.
Maysa, what made you go that route?
Wow.
Blue Velvet Records.
I had to go that route because I felt like I wasn't being supported throughout the other 13 albums I've done for other companies. I thought I figured that if my career was going to continue as it is, because a lot of people say, well, why are you not big like this person? Or why are you not a household, like everybody should know who you are kind of person? If they haven't changed that in 13 years, then I might as well own myself. At this point, if I can't make it better, then they could. But at least at the point I would know that I would own it, and I would be able to leave my son, my future grandchildren, and my godchildren something from me where they can live a life where they don't have to worry about a phone bill or electricity bill. They can explore the world. They can be creative, and they can support this world as good human beings without being stressed about bills. So that's my goal, is to build generational wealth. And so my point is that I wanted to, that's so many reasons why I started Blue Velvet Soul Records, but also to have complete control over who I am.
Yeah.
And don't have to compromise or try to deal with anybody else's opinions on that.
And so in Blue Velvet Soul Records, one of the things that you spoke about earlier was just loving the marketing side of it.
Yes, I do. I do. I really do. I don't know why I didn't go to school for marketing. Because I 1 year I was at Morgan, I decided I don't want to do music. Like, I quit music every day. And
Right.
I quit. I said, I quit. I don't want to do music this year. And I'm going to go to business. And I literally failed every class they had in business. I failed gym, everything that whole year. I couldn't even get it together. So I went right back to music and got back on board. But I love the marketing. If I had thought to go to marketing, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Because I love it. So I've used it in my career. I do it with all of my music. I've done it with other record companies. When I was working for other companies, I did my own marketing for my own videos, my own marketing.
Right.
I've done all of that. And now for my own label, I'm doing the same thing. So
It's so
yeah,
good.
yes,
It's so
used
good.
to it.
And one of the things that I latched onto, we've been talking a lot about AI. And people using AI, and AI kind of coming in and taking over creation and replacing creators, which I don't think is possible, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But you use AI.
I did for my only for my visuals because I couldn't afford for anybody to artist. Like for some instances, I couldn't afford to do 20 different looks that I needed for my covers or my magazine pages. I couldn't afford to hire somebody, so I did use AI to help me make some pictures or photos or something like that. But never for my vocals, never for music.
That's right.
That's what I'm really scared of, and it's not fair to any of us. It's really not fair to artists either. People who do those things that I had to, use cut down, but use the budget. I didn't have the budget to hire. Right. So I did hire my creative director, what I call him. He's my graphic artist. So I did hire him to put it all together.
Right.
So yeah, so I do use AI. I mean, we kind of can't get away from it at this point, but the only thing I want to fight is that AI cannot, like somebody can take my voice and then make a whole album without my permission. Those kind of things. That's
when you cross the line.
Yeah, that's just too much.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much. That's when you cross the line. And I know that there's a lot of associations and task force, if you will, that's going against that. That's completely going against that type of technology. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Get it straight.
Yeah, hopefully. But you said something. You said your magazine, you said your album. So meaning those are magazines available, there's albums available that you're selling right now.
Oh yes, I have the album. I have several. I've released 11 singles on my record label, and I also have 3 projects. The first one was an EP that was comprised of the first 4 singles. Then I have my 14th solo album called Music for Your Soul, which is a 19-song double album.
19 songs.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I laid it out just right, so it sounds great. And then I have a sister album to that called Remix for Your Soul. And it's all I got some of the best remixers in the country to remix these records from Music for Your Soul. And we've been blessed with 2 number 1s on Track Source from that album.
So good. Yeah. So good. Now, people typically like to download or not even download. We stream it, right?
Yeah,
we're streaming it. But for a woman who's owning her own record label, would you still say buy albums?
Yes, please. Buying the album is directly supporting the company. Downloads too, but the streaming doesn't support it at all.
Streaming just don't get it right.
No.
That math ain't mathing.
And they don't. They're not trying to make it. They're going to stay the top rich people and use us to make their money, and that's just how it is. And I don't know how they legally do that, but they found a way. And it's really terrible. I mean, and the exposure, they say, oh, it's exposure. No, I'm too old for exposure. I'm 58 years old.
And you've been in the game for 34 years.
34 years.
Let's be clear. She's been in the game for 34 years. We don't need exposure.
Right. And that's what they try to come with you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah. So, but if you buy physical CDs, which I'm very grateful because people, like I was saying earlier, people my age and older still want the physical CD.
Yes.
Thank God.
We do. We do.
Whether they have CDs, they're taking them out the cars and they're taking the players, don't have anymore. But some people still have some players, and people just want that physical CD, whether it's signed or not. So it's good.
Well, I'm an advocate for vinyl.
Oh yeah, I do have some vinyl.
Yes, I'm an advocate for vinyl because I'm a vinyl player. I love when the needle, the needle goes on the record. It is such a good feeling. It reminds me of home.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. So I do want to talk to you real quick. I know we got to wrap it up about this story about Home Depot.
Okay.
Because I was in tears. So I've interviewed Maysa on Capital Jazz TV several times, y'all, several times. And I heard 2 new stories today that I have never heard before. One about Bluey, and the second is this Home Depot story. I've never heard this story before. So as an artist and as a woman who owns her label, it ain't always like you're not getting checks every week. It's not guaranteed that you're getting a check. And so sometimes you do hit rock bottom.
Yeah. This happened before I started my label. This happened in 2006 when I was a lull in my career and I didn't have any live shows and I didn't have any music out. I didn't have any records out. So in that little time period, my son was 5 or 6 years old, and I was with my mom. We all lived in the same home. So I was trying to take care of us, and there was just no money, but except for her. I think she had a Social Security check or something. Yeah. And so I went. I was like, "Mommy, I'm nervous," and I went to go talk to my dad, who was in heaven, and in that time, and I said, the reason why I go to Home Depot is because he used to take me to Home Depot all the time, and that was our little thing to go to Home Depot together. So when I want to talk to him, I go to Home Depot. So I went and talked to my dad, and I was like, "Dad, we're struggling right now. Can you please help me? I got to figure out what to do." So what came to me was to put in an application and just
At
get
Home
a
Depot.
job at Home Depot.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is 2006. So this is years. I've been with Incognito for years, and had done several solo albums by that time. And so I said, God, let me just put in an application. So I went up to the front. I got the application, went and sat down and filled it out. And by the time I got back, this black lady who's the manager came up, and I handed her the application. And she said, she looked at the application, and she looked at me, and she looked back at my name again, and she was like, oh my God, Maysa, I got all your music. You don't have to work here. You're not working here. And I was like, what? And I was in shock because she's like, oh girl, I got all your albums. You ain't working here. And she ripped the application up. And I just started crying. I'm like, but I need a job. She said, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then when I got home and told my mom what I did, she cussed me out. Like, why would you take your tail up there anyway? You should have gone up there anyway. And she said, I told you we're going to be okay. And literally a few days later, Kim Waters called me and asked me to sing the song Daydreaming with him on his album, to remake Aretha Franklin's Daydreaming.
And that was a successful single.
It was.
That
really
was a successful single, yes.
Yeah. And then from that, because it was so successful, that his record company offered me my own record deal. But that was within weeks. So that's how it started. Then I did 13 albums for them too.
So she said, I went into Home Depot to go talk to my father.
Yeah. I did. And he blessed me.
And he was so clear.
He was very clear.
He was so clear.
He was very clear. And then my mother tried to tell me before I left, she was like, don't worry about anything. But she didn't know I was going to Home Depot to try to put in an application.
Oh my gosh, Maysa. And it's been on ever since.
Yep.
I mean, 34 years.
Yes. 34
Anything
years.
you want to say to Maysa 34 years ago?
Woo. Have fun and don't stress yourself out too much. Because I've been heavily stressed the whole journey until I turned 50. When I turned 50 years old, I was like, I'm not chasing, because I kept trying to chase that. Cause saying, why are people not paying attention to me? Why do people take my kindness for weakness? Why do people not want to see me succeed? Why do people treat me like I'm not good enough, like I'm not as high as these other people are in the industry? Yes. But yet they'll take, I don't know, it's just a lot. I just stopped worrying about all of that, and I just started just understanding how I got here and why I'm here. And I know that I'm a vessel I'm a messenger for God and His music, and to help people get through their lives and help them. And that's all I want to do, and that's all I've asked God for when I was a teenager. That's right. So I'm grateful to God for this experience. And as long as I'm making people happy, I'm good. And that's all I want.
And you are making people happy. Maysa, you make this whole cruise, like when I say feeding our souls, this is what you do.
Oh, thank you.
This is what you do. So you can find Maysa on Facebook with your kitchen karaoke's,
yes.
which are so much fun.
Yes.
And you can find you on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Maysa Leak Music on Instagram.
Okay.
And TikTok, I think I'm Maysa Leak. Instagram, I'm at Maysa Leak Music, and Facebook, I am Maysa Official page.
Nice.
But you go to my website, Maysa.com, and all the links are there. So.
There it is, Maysa.com. Please make sure you visit and buy records, buy albums.
Yes.
Buy albums, so important, from a woman who owns her own label.
Thank you, honey. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you,
Maysa.
Thank
you for all the years of just being there for me. I really appreciate you. Wow, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time, but I am a fan of Maysa Leak, y'all. I am a fan. Thank you so much for joining us here on Capital Jazz TV. This is Maysa. I'm Jodine. Thank you for tuning in to Capital Jazz.
Thank you.